Look into it. Oh shit. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to JSR. And after a Great race, strategy race at the Singapore Grand Prix. We now arrive at the most technical circuits on the calendar here in Zandvoort. And Singapore last week belonged to Ferrari. A perfectly executed early undercut saw Esteban take the victory, with Robbie Akers making it a 1-2 finish. A huge championship and a huge result that shaken up the momentum in this championship fight. But tonight, things get even more spicy and interesting now, because we're not only just racing once at Zandvoort, we are racing twice. And the format is no different. We've got two double-header race tonight, two 35% races. One race that follows the traditional format, and qualifying sets the grid, and it's all about track position on a circuit where overtaking is incredibly difficult as well. Then it flips over to a reversed format as well. So it's going to be a very interesting challenger. And Zandvoort is not an easy place to recover or overtake either. It's narrow, it's unforgiving, and it's incredibly fast. The banking through turn 3 and the final corner adds unique flow and style, but it also punishes the smallest mistake, and this track is notoriously famous for its track limits. Here we go then for the race in Zandvoort. No time to breathe. And we get racing immediately here at the Zandvoort Grand Prix in the Netherlands. And sees Mercedes gets a wobbly start off the line as we go forward pressed in towards turn 1 we go. But they make it out of skate because they're ghosted. Bassi takes the lead going in towards turn 1 with Leon in P2 as we took in the Mercedes flies with the LP goes off the track and he retires already in this race. Leon is out of the race already. And that's his race done and dusted in the wall. I presume a safety car came out. Yes, it is. And that's what happens when you don't have a formation lap, because you didn't even know who's first, second or third, because you got to a guess immediately. So that was a chaotic start, because I actually had no idea who was where at the start of the Grand Prix. But now it's all settled down with this VSC. It's a VSC, by the way, not a full-blown safety car, so thank God for that, because we didn't really need a safety car at this stage of the Grand Prix already. So, split strategies. It's a 25-lap race around here in Zandvoort. Bassi is in the lead on the soft compound tyres. We took us in P2. Olai is P3 in the Kicksauber on the soft compound tyres as well. We've got Torpe Robert on the softs. We've got Rauch in P14 on the soft compound tyres. So, all three tyre compounds are being used in this race. And we'll see which tyre compound is the better one in this race too. But first of all, we've got this VSC, this neutralisation. And once this neutralisation ends, and Ralph gets a penalty, and what's going on in the midfield here too, with every single driver there desperate and eager to get back on the power, and desperate to get past each other as well. And this is what happens as well in JSR. There's always something going on as we head down towards turn 1. There's cars in the pit lane, and here comes Retook down the inside. Oh, they make contact in towards turn 1 with Bassi on the inside. And now the kickstart of Olai goes up into P2 thanks to the expense of Retook in Mercedes in P3 there. So what a bad one, not a good overtake there as well, as we saw Torpe side by side with Robbie Akers last week into P2. Now the wheel to wheel climbing all the way towards turn 7 we go. Robbie Akers squeezes, but we can see the kicksauber of Olai all over the back there as Ryan gets ahead of Sasha as well. He puts himself up into P5. There is action and drama and pandemonium everywhere you look as well. Every single driver desperate to get past each other, and that is Fireblaze looking on the gearbox of the Aston Martin there of Torpe, who seems to be struggling at this particular part of this race. The Austrian Grand Prix race winner is down in P9 as we now make our way towards the chicane we go then. So well, a chaotic first lap that was, but now we head out of the final couple of corners then with every single driver in close proximity of each other. Olai is all over the back of Bassi as the DRS then is enabled. Misha is on the hard compound tyres there, so he'll be struggling at this stage. Here comes Olai for the lead of this race as he puts himself back into first place, and now here comes Mercedes as the Red Bull goes down the inside. He takes a lot of curve. There's not enough space to go side by side there, but the door is open because Misha forced it to be open. Mercedes gets out wide. Mercedes goes on the curb. He loses traction. He loses the car, and he gets swamped by everybody. Here comes the racing bull around the outside. That is Sasha. Nice move from Sasha. And Rito got swamped there because he was all out of shape and offline, which forced him into a compromised position, and now he's down into P7. So that was a bit of a messy one there for the Mercedes driver. That was caused by Misha squeezing his way down the inside there. No room, but he forced the room, and unfortunately for him, he has been shuffled down into P7. So the people that pitted under the VSC, I think Milan Langer was one of them. I don't think... Did they change tyres? I'm not quite sure. But Hatikas and Stefan, they're side by side at the exit of turn 10, now going down in towards 11 and 12 we go. Let's see which one of the Dutchies gets in front of who. And it looks like those two are toughing it out there between themselves. Stefan just stays ahead of Hatikas, and Stefan stays in P2. Now Misha is putting the pressure on Bassi in front of him. Bassi has lost the DRS towards Olai there. The Aston Martin driver starting to lose touch with the guys in front of him, and here comes Misha now, blast past the Aston Martin. He goes up into P2 ahead of Bassi then. Let's see if he can chase down Olai, who is on the soft compound tyres, and that is Ryan on the inside there too, but he forces the Aston Martin wide and once again goes around the outside to complete another spectacular manoeuvre against the Aston Martin driver. And now Ryan is up into P3 on the medium compound tyres. Which strategy is better? The soft compound tyres, the medium, the hard? We'll see. The top three, soft, hard, medium. We've got 3 different tyre compounds being used here in JSR. It's lap 4 of 25. There's still plenty of laps to go in this race so far. It is Ollie who leads by 9/10 of a second, but that lap time will come down bit by bit considering he's on the soft compound tyres. We know the soft compound tyres are not really a great race tyre, it seems, in history, but we'll see how long he stays in the lead, and we'll see when he decides to pit as well in this race. Was the soft compound tyre a good race tyre to start on? We'll see now as we exit the final 2 corners on this racetrack. Misha with the DRS on the back of Olai on the main straight we go. Ryan is in hot pursuit too. Ryan hasn't won a race since the first race of the season at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. As further behind in the background, we can see a few swapperoos going on here. That is Torpe and Rauch going side by side. The 2 green coloured cars going wheel to wheel. As you can see, Rauch is pinched on the outside there. Off the track he goes. And Torpe was leaving him no room whatsoever there on the outside. And he forced him to go wide too. Sasha is right at the back of Robbie Jacobs as well. As we now make our way through Skyflop, we go into turn 7. But no moves may be in there. It's a very risky move to someone to the inside into turn 7. But it's not going to make that move for the time being. Bassi, I think, is holding these 2 drivers up. We know Bassi is not really a high contender, it must be said, on pure pace, not to be offensive, but he is a midfield driver. He's amongst the mix of the front runners, and that's why he's tangled up in this battle. So that probably explains why he started to lose some pace against the guys in front, and he's also on the soft compound tyres too. Robbie Jacobs and Sasha are all over the back of the Aston Martin, but meanwhile towards the top end of the field we can see these 3 then in the DRS we go. And look at Bassi, he's in the pit lane to get rid of his soft compound tyres. Here comes Misha, not around the outside there in towards turn 1. Bassi gets a 10-second tyre penalty in this race. It's such an easy thing to do, getting a 10-second tyre penalty, especially around this track, because you arrive in the pit lane at high speed, slam on the brakes, but unfortunately there's nothing you can do about it. As here comes Ryan now crawling over the back of Misha. Of course, the medium compound tyres, there's no way he's trying to go around the outside there. The door is firmly shut in his face as the Icelandic driver has left the session. That is Aaron, who is out of the race, unfortunately. We can see Robbie Jacobs there under all sorts of pressure and agony against the Racing Bull driver because it's on the degraded hard compound tyres. So Sasha will be blitzing it on those hard compound tyres, hoping to dispatch him quickly. So therefore he can try and catch the top 3, which he should do on those hard compound tyres. The race leader is on the soft compound tyres is Olai. Olai, I don't think he raced back in the Singapore Grand Prix, but he returns here after taking the lead. Oh, look at that, Ryan almost lost it in the final corner. The Norwegian Dutchman pushing hard. Here comes Misha now side by side with the Sauber driver as he now puts himself up into first place ahead of Olai, takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and Ryan is the next one to try and dispatch him. Be careful though, picking your drivers off by 1, because you know it's easy to make contact with the guy in front of you on the old soft compound tyre. So he's got to be really, really careful of when he picks his moment. And is that him letting it go? I think it is, you know. He turned his battery off and let Ryan go. So that's a nice gesture there from Olai to let Ryan go up into P2. And Misha will not be happy about that one, considering he fought him early on in this race. And Bassi, I think, has become a cropper, or one of the Aston Martins have become a cropper. I believe that will be Torpe on the soft compound tyres as he lets the Mercedes go. I think his race is over now. But I'm not quite sure what's happened to Milan Langer down there, and also Ralph in P14. They came into the pit lane at the end of the first lap under VSC. Was that strategy-wise? He's pitted again, Milan Langer. So Milan Langer has pitted once again. So his race is going from bad to worse. The Dutchman, unfortunately for him, not having a great race. His last podium was back at the Chinese Grand Prix, sorry. But here comes the Racing Bull. of Sasha on the back of Oleg going down towards turn 1. It's so tight between those two there, but you can't make a move just yet down the inside towards turn 1 now. Just be patient. It's all about patience here in this race. Well, he lets him go again in the same place, so he doesn't want to fight it. Sasha and Ryan are a really good lineup as Torpe's retired in the pit lane, so no safety car will come out. But I believe Ryan and Sasha, they are two strong drivers, you know. Really, really capable drivers, sorry, it must be said. Sasha was the only driver in the lead to score significant points in every single round, as we see the Sauber, I think, who's had a bit of a cropper or mistake there at turn 7 to turn 8. But during the 3-1 event, Sasha was untouchable in the Italian and the Emilia-Romagna legs because he demonstrated the ability to adapt to different racetracks. And he won in Monza, and I think he won in Imola too. And even without massive tally of race wins, his 180 points come from second and third places, finishes combined with fastest lap bonuses, Austria and also Qatar as well. But I don't think Sasha, despite not many race wins to his name this season, he's done a mega job to be leading this championship on 180 points ahead of Esteban in the Ferrari P2. Esteban has lifted himself up in this championship. I don't think Esteban, is he here? Oh yeah, he's in P11, sorry, he just pit him. Yeah, he's down there in P11 on the hardcore pile tyres. Milan Langer has said that's for the Grand Prix. Misha is starting to pull away from Ryan. Misha scored a good result back in Singapore because he started outside the top 10 and went on to finish in P4 behind his teammate Fireblaze, who's currently running the P4 right now in the second Red Bull. So Misha has picked up some pace recently. We know that he's very quick in the Red Bull, and he's quick elsewhere too, but he hasn't really shown much either this season. The summary so far of this season, as we see the Racing Bulls swap places there as Sasha goes up into P2. That's my favourite energy drink, that Red Bull livery. I do like that so much. It's such a nice energy drink, and I tasted it a couple of weeks ago, and it is so nice indeed. So for those who do drink Red Bull, I guarantee try one of them because it is very nice indeed. I don't like the original Red Bull, the blue can, or any other Red Bulls, but Ola gets out of Bassi, goes up into P6. I don't really drink any other energy drinks except that Red Bull, which Sasha is running. That's the only energy drink I drink, which is very nice indeed. So I guarantee if you try it, you'll like it. Unless, of course, you're not a Red Bull fan, then it's all good. But Red Bull currently releases so many drinks as well. It's unbelievable. They've got so many liveries now. Liveries. I meant so many flavours. There we go. Not liveries. But Sasha in P2 is chasing down Misha if he can. That's why both Racing Bulls will probably swap places. Lap 10 out of 25 in this race. We see Sasha hunting down Misha. It's a Red Bull 1, 2, 3, 4. So the Red Bulls and Racing Bulls are together on the track, but Fireblaze is a bit further back. Khatakas P2 in the championship is currently in P5. Is the man who won one of the three triple headers. We had Monza. He won the Monaco Grand Prix, the Khatakas. It was a mega drive for him. And he's currently P3 in the championship, but for how much longer? Because his rivals are in front of him. Robbie Jacobs has got past the Mercedes, who goes up into P8 on the new hardcore power tyres. But I'm going to be quite intrigued to see what happens towards the mid part of the race, the second leg, because obviously these guys are yet to pit, and therefore Robbie Jacobs will probably get a good undercut on the guys ahead as well. So we'll see where Robbie Jacobs fits into this equation. But of course, these guys are going to continue to stretch these tyres out to the hard or the mediums, because Misha and Sasha have got a completely different strategy, and Ryan and Fireblaze their medium power tyres are starting to degrade at this stage of the Grand Prix, so they won't have any sort of good pace. How? Fireblaze has lost 4th place. Fireblaze has got front wing damage. What has happened to Fireblaze? Did he make contact with Khatakas? I'm not quite sure, but unfortunately the man that won the Austrian Grand Prix has sustained damage to his Red Bull, and a trip to the pits will be necessitated for him, as we see Ryan trundling down the pit lane at 60 kph. So Sasha has caught up to Misha, as we see now Ryan exit the pit lane. This is good for Sasha in terms of the championship. Let's see what he could do in this momentum swing. It could be a good score of points, as we see. Where is the Red Bull rejoining? That is Fireblaze, as he rejoins behind Bassi. Sorry, that's Ryan who rejoins behind Bassi, but he's on the new hardcore power tyre, so he should easily dispatch him. Let's see how easy it is. How much time is he going to spend behind him? As we see Milan behind Fireblaze, ahead of Fireblaze at the exit of the pit lane. As we go through Skyflock, we go. Can Ryan find a way past cleanly and securely as well, not making contact, especially when you're in a championship fight in first place? You don't want to be making contact with anybody. No, I know it's a no-brainer thing to say. I know it's common sense, but it states the obvious. There we go. But it can happen. It can happen. We've seen people before who make contact with people in front of them because they're impatient, and that's their weakness too. They want to get past as quickly as they can. They're too tenacious, but it's all about finding the right timing. Here we go. This should be the right timing with the DRS open. This should be taking kind of like a baby from the race of the Aston Martin. Here comes Ryan, sorry. He goes up into P5, and here comes Robbie Jacobs. He goes up into P6 there, ahead of the Aston Martin, the man that finished P2 back at the Belgian Grand Prix, at the Singapore Grand Prix. What a race it was as well for the forward drivers. The Aston Martin there goes off the track and almost hits the back of Robbie Jacobs too. So suffering with the lack of grip, but Robbie Jacobs has picked up a few podiums this season, but not a race win just yet. He's still searching for that race win. He picked up a podium back in Baku, but unfortunately for him, the race win has not been there yet. He picked up a podium in the Brazilian Grand Prix. That's 3 or 4 podiums this season he's had to his name, and they've all been P2s as well. He'll be dearly loved to win a Grand Prix. We know Robbie Jacobs can definitely win a Grand Prix, but I think he's been suffering with a bit of impatience so far. And also he's got himself in a few scuffles as well, it must be said. As we see, these two swap for the lead of the Grand Prix. Sasha is back in front. Our championship leader is now leading this race. It's good news for Sasha indeed. He finished P2 back in the Monaco Grand Prix. He won the Italian Grand Prix, and he also won the Monza Grand Prix too. So he's dominated in Monza and Imola. He's picked up a podium as well elsewhere, back at the Chinese Grand Prix, and also at the Singapore Grand Prix, As you could tell, I probably haven't done much research as I should have done, because I don't really have enough time. But I'm trying to, it's really difficult when you commentate for multiple leagues. Try and remember everything. It's so difficult to remember everything too. But Sasha's consistency is why he's up there in the championship lead. Although he had a bad race, it must be said, back at the Singapore Grand Prix. In fact, I don't think he turned up at the Singapore Grand Prix, did he? No, he did not. No, so no appearance there at the Singapore Grand Prix for Sasha. So he probably lost a whole bunch of points there because Robbie Jacobs and Stevan was able to close in. Here we go down towards Tier 1. I think these two will try and play wisely and not fight amongst themselves, because they know that they've got a lot of catching up to do on the mini-cup power tie. Is this the right strategy from Misha and Sasha to go on the hardcore power ties? How long are they going to leave it out there on the hardcore power ties? Because usually when you do hard to medium stints, you don't really have the time to bring that gap down on the mini-cup power ties. You run out of laps, as we can see Ryan go around the outside in towards Tier 1, pulls off a very neat move indeed to now promote himself up into P4. His main target is Misha and Sasha. I don't think Hazard will be a threat on the old hardcore power ties, but his main target is right there in P1 and P2. And he knows that he's got to push hard as he can, because he knows that when Sasha and Misha, I got the two names mixed up, when those two pit, they will switch over to the mini-cup power tyres, and therefore the mini-cup power tyres will be much quicker than his, and they'll be rapid towards the end, hunting him down bit by bit. But they got the bit between their teeth there, because they got a lot of catch-up to do as well, indeed. And I don't know actually, 80 seconds is not too much of a big gap. But we'll see when those two decide to pit. How long are they going to leave it out there for? What's happened between the Aston Martin down there? Is that Bassi who's gone for a spin? It is again. What a shame for Bassi, the former race leader in this Grand Prix, whilst the top two have swapped places in the race again. And Olai gets back ahead. Oh, Ryan's dropped it at the extra final corner. What a shame for the Norwegian Dutchman there. He was on his way, destined to try and win this Grand Prix, but it's gone from bad to worse now. And I think that Sasha and Misha could possibly have it in their hands. But we don't know just yet. Robbie Jacobs is still a threat in the race in P5. What a shame for Ryan. You know, things like this, just, you think, I don't know how to describe it really, but, you know, he's got some great pace. We know he has, but he just makes some silly mistakes, which puts him out of contention. And it's just a shame to see there from the Norwegian Dutchman. Ryan is a super quick driver, as we know before. We've seen him before as well in league racing. He is very quick indeed, but he just makes the odd mistake now and then, and it puts him down, really, doesn't it? Misha is going to go 41 points in the championship, gained 10 places after Singapore, moving him to P12. Because Misha hasn't really been around that lot either. But the championship is split. So Misha and Sasha have stayed out once again, which is quite interesting there. Quite sure how long they're going to leave it for on those hardcore power tyres. It's going to be quite interesting to see when they do pit. And Bassi's retired. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness me. A safety car has been deployed. And this is the impeccable, perfect timing for both Red Bull and Racing Bull to make their pit stop. Misha and Sasha, the golden opportunity has arisen, and they could definitely pit now to get rid of the hardcore power tyres. And I must say for Bassi as well, yes, it's an easy place to crash. You know what? Sometimes I keep forgetting I don't commentate for the highest divisions in the bigger league. Sometimes I need to remember that it's not the highest division in bigger leagues. Safety cars will appear now and then. So Sasha, this is good for him in terms of the championship, because we know Misha's quite far behind. And his rivals is also lacking behind too. As it stands in the championship, it is Sasha who leads with 110 points. Behind with Steva, followed in P2 and behind by 6 points. Stevan's in P9 right now on the mid-club bar tyres. Hazakas P3 to Williams, 96. Robbie Jacobs is P4 with 95. Ryan Bennings P5 with 93. Kicks P6 with 92. Fireblaze is P7 with 92. So it's mighty close between first and 6th place there, and 7th place, sorry. Ralph has got 78 points, and this is a good bunch of points there for Ralph indeed. Milan Langer, 55 with 9th with 55 points. Mark's P10 with 40 points, and Eric's P11 with 43, the race winner of the Qatar Grand Prix. Misha catapulted up into P12 in the Red Bull with 41 points. Miles and Kevin 30-40. Torpe Olai with 16 points in 16th place. Pavasim, reserve driver, who's got a podium back at the British GP. Bassi P18 ahead of Nick, and Wienman is in P20, and that concludes the top 20 in the championship. But it will completely change after these two races indeed. They say that Baku, the Dutch GP, might be off the calendar this year as well. Happy St. Paddy's Day as well. Happy St. Patrick's Day. But yeah, did they say the Dutch GP is off the calendar this year? Because we know that this track doesn't particularly have great racing indeed. It is known for yeah, it's not good racing. It returned back on the calendar in 2021, and Max Verstappen went on to win ahead of Hamilton and Bottas as well in P2. Do you remember when Valtteri Bottas got told to slow down? But he still said the Verstappen Grand Prix indeed. Sorry for Bottas, because he heard Valtteri's James a lot as well. Verstappen has won in 21, 22, 23, but not 2024. I think Verstappen didn't win in 2024. Then Oscar Piastri won in 2025, the year after, because Lando Norris had a blowout, and Isaac Hodjar finished in P3 for his first podium in Formula 1. It took Hulkenberg 15 years, it took Hodjar 15 races. But Hadjar genuinely had some decent pace in that race. But what happened to Verstappen? Oh, he finished in P2, didn't he? But 2023 was quite an interesting race because we had mixed conditions as well. It started raining, and it rained at the beginning of the race too. And I think McLaren bottled the strategy as well. Verstappen and Perez was the first one to pit. Perez was leading, and Verstappen rejoined way behind, and he was 30 seconds behind. But all of a sudden, Verstappen caught up to Perez in a matter of time, and somehow still got ahead of him despite being 30 seconds behind. But the race settled down after that. And I think it was Verstappen and also Gasly who finished in P3, as the race had to be red flagged due to the bad weather around here. It is sandy around this track as well. That's why they call it the sand dunes, because the track is literally built on the beach. The wind constantly blows onto the tarmac. This means the grip levels can be changed from lap to lap as well. If the driver goes a few inches off the racing line, they'll find themselves on the marbles or the loose sand. But the safety car is coming in towards the end of this lap, and we'll see who will win the Dutch GP. Will it be a Dutchman or will it be somebody else? The Belgium of Robbie Ackers in P5. Misha will control the pack, as we see all 12 drivers on the same straight, and we pull the trigger to get racing once again. Misha, well done to him as he managed to get a gap over Sasha to defend from turn 1, as Sasha can't go down the inside. But Robbie Jacobs there trying to go around the outside into turn 1. Can he make it stick? The rubbing wheels as they make it out unscathed, as there's damage lost as well, unfortunately, for the guys behind. I'm not quite sure who made contact there, but Robbie Jacobs tried to make a move on Olai, but unable to in the background. We can see Ryan there side by side with the Mercedes driver climbing up towards turn 7 we go. Which one of these two will get ahead first? As Ryan will try and go around the outside, but understeer wide. He touched across to the apex, and now through goes Milan Langer. And here comes Milan on the Mercedes too. That's 2 for 1 drivers there as he tries to go down the inside in towards turn 9 we go. Mercedes goes wide, and here comes Ryan then. Oh, contact! Contact with the championship leader. He is out of this race. What on earth happened there? Oh my goodness me, what a change in this championship. A dramatic moment in the championship fight. We've got a lot of people with damage as well in this race. It's a classic JSR race, it must be said, with 5 laps left to go in this race. Sasha is out, and Olai has... Oh my goodness me, what on earth is going on here? Jesus Christ, man. But yeah, Olai is out of the race too for good measure, as we can see now the Ferrari Esteban goes through. Oh, it gets from bad to worse, doesn't it? Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. I don't even know what to say. Where's Fireblaze in all of this? In P5 still. Misha still leads ahead of Khatikas, who's on the soft compound tyres there. So, boy, he had to get through some cars, didn't he, to make his way forwards. But he's got the gap's 1.4 seconds. Does he have the grip to catch up towards Misha on the mini compound tyres? We'll see. The soft compound tyres shouldn't be too bad considering they're towards the end, as Milan goes off the track there. I think plenty of people before in the past have done the exact same thing. Ralph now goes up into P6 ahead of Rauch. There is 4 laps to go in this race, this chaotic race indeed. I wasn't expecting this to be chaotic, but it is JSR. JSR things, it must be said. Misha goes on to set the fast for the Grand Prix. This could be his win again. Well done to Misha, because he had a great result back in the Singapore Grand Prix, finished in P4. But, yeah, lots of things unfold in this race. I have no idea how to describe this race, just too chaotic. Don't mind a bit of drama, but that's a bit overboard. It's a bit too far-fetched, it must be said. But we'll see if things change in the future. Three laps left to go in this race. Misha, according to the records, got 2 wins already in JSR, so could be about to make it his 3rd win this season. Sorry, I'm looking at the fastest laps, my bad. I'm just trying to look at the record books here. It's a lot of people. Misha has got 11 podiums in JSR. He's also got 3 wins, so this could be his 4th win and 12th podium here in JSR. I've got one win in the JSR. That was back in the Spanish Grand Prix, which I'm very happy about indeed, because I don't think I'll ever win a race again in league racing, because I don't league race no more. We've got the Mercedes on the back of Rouch. Sorry if I sound a bit enthusiastic, but of course there's 10 people in this Grand Prix. There's not a lot of battling going on. We've had a lot of controversial moments in this Grand Prix too. So yeah, apologies about the lack of enthusiasm, I must say. Robert, though, is closing on the back of Hazakas, so Hazakas may be still under threat from the guy behind him, which is Robert, who started to try and inch forwards towards the Dutchman. And Goat Cheese. Oh. Mercedes goes off the track and spins around too. So that's probably the last battle on the circuit, unless these two somehow get close to each other. The two-time champion of JSR is on the way to try and get Hazakas for P2. And Hazakas is a 10-time race winner in JSR. Robbie Jacobs is a 14-time race winner in JSR. Milan Langer has still got the most wins in JSR with 31, but surprisingly only one at championship indeed. Whereas Sven Joke has got 27 wins and 7 championships, which is quite astonishing indeed. And also he was teammates with Milan Langer too. So Robbie Jacobs is now finally in DRS range of Hazakas. Let's see, with one more lap to go, can Robbie Jacobs get P2? Robbie Jacobs still hasn't won a race yet this season, but there's still one more chance. There's still plenty of chances this season, but here in the Dutch GP, he's at the pace. As the DRS then has been wide open, but the Ferrari is not close enough to make a move on Hazakas. So Hazakas should be safe at this very point in the Grand Prix. I don't think Robbie Jacobs can force a move anyway, unless Hazakas' tyres are giving up the ghost there and not providing the grip he needs at the corners. But Robbie Jacobs is getting tantalisingly close against the Williams driver, but not close enough to make a lunge anywhere. His last possible chance is probably the final corner towards the line, if he could get close enough. The battery is similar between those two, so not much of an advantage in terms of battery, but I think it might be a wise thing to do to just save it in the last sector in terms of attack and defense mode. But Misha is in the foreground pulling away, but Robbie Jacobs there right at the back of the Williams driver. Can he make a move going down in towards the chicane? He goes, switch to the left hand side. Can he take the place away? They're wheel to wheel, they bang wheels too. As you can see, just exchanging bodywork there too between the two. But Hazakas gets the outside line, but he backs off the DRS, but that probably was the unwise thing to do. Here comes Misha as he wins the Dutch GP. What an amazing drive from Misha. But Hazakas is right behind him and just misses out by 66 of a second. That was probably a smart thing to do, but just backed off too much there. As Ryan finishes a P4 ahead of Fireblaze, and Ralph will finish in P6 ahead of Rouch in P7. So Rouch will get ahead of Ralph. Stefan in P8 ahead of Rietuk, and Milan Langer will run off the top 10 to conclude this race. Now, the reverse formats, I think, will be even more chaotic. So watch out for that. I'll be back with you. I'll take a short break. Well done to Misha, a great race from him and good momentum to carry in the next race in the reverse format as home Grand Prix as well. So well done to Misha indeed. Robbie Jacobs in P2 ahead of Hattekas right in P4 ahead of 5 Blaze, ahead of Rauch. Ralph at P7 ahead of Steban. Retook in P9 ahead of Milan Langer. The only finishes on the top 10 was the DNS there. Sasha was out of the race. Bassi, Torpe, Aaron, Leon, and Olai, who were out of the Dutch GP. Then we move on to the reverse race, and hopefully that'll be a little bit better, but I dare say still chaotic. Another great haul of points there for Misha. It's another P2. That's 4 P2s for Robbie Yakub. Still yet to win a race this season. He is the two-time champion, with Khataka securing another podium for Williams. Great for his championship aspirations. The championship leader has crashed out in this race. Welcome all back to the race here in the Netherlands. This time it is the reverse race, so we'll see what happens here tonight. They've only got 11 drivers, unfortunately, so it hopefully won't be as boring, but we'll never know. It could be a boring race, but we'll see what this race has to entail. But we move on to the sprint, to the reverse race, and hopefully everything's much more cleaner this time, unlike last time. A lot of drivers get over upset, a lot of people crashing too to cause safety cars, and a lot of people just making mistakes in general. So hopefully this is a bit more quieter, but good racing and good battling, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of minutes in this race. Still a 25-lap race around here in Zandvoort. The attendance may have got lower, but the spirits are still high as the lights on the board look but never stare, because the lights are about to go away very, very shortly, and away we go for the Dutch GP once again, backwards this time, and here comes the Red Bull driver who stays in the lead of the Grand Prix. Robbie versus Gattegas as they go side by side, up towards the bank, here they go. It is Robbie Jacobs up into P2, down the inside goes Ryan, but Gattegas trying to stick around the outside there, and the exit at turn 3, going in towards the chicane. Somebody's got down into the back of the field already, as we see now the Williams there, trying to make a move, but he can't do so. Fireblaze is up into P4. Fireblaze sneaks past the Williams driver who tries to burn his podium, but unfortunately for him, has been shuffled down into P5. So Gattegas will be one happy bunny around here at the Dutch GP. He's just lost 2 places and now falling backwards into P5, and there's a lot of work to do from there. Oh, massive wheel spin too there. If I remember correctly, did a Gattegas spin in STN when he was trying to win the Grand Prix as well? And not really a particular big fan. Look at this, Ryan rides the back of Robbie Jacobs. He's on the hard compound tyres, already putting pressure against the Ferrari driver, backing out. Don't be too aggressive, especially at the stage of the Grand Prix. There's no need to be that aggressive. Just try and settle into a rhythm. But Sasha, our championship leader, getting all sorts of shapes and bothers there as well. And he's fighting for the championship lead. He's trying and get and recover some lost ground, especially after that DNF in the last race. And now Sasha putting the pressure immediately on the Kickstarter to go wheel to wheel up towards the first corner we go, and Sasha gets up into P6 ahead of the Sauber driver. Great speed indeed. It's really terrifying going up towards the back in there, turn 1 and turn 2, because it's so quick. Flat out turn 1, then gradually gets slower as you go along as well, as we see Stefan get ahead of Raj. He puts himself up into P7 now. The DRS has been enabled in this race. Robbie Jacobs there rides the back of Misha, this time in the DRS of Milan Langer, gets ahead of the Kickstarter driver, who puts himself now up into P8. And as you can see there, Rauch is running, I think, medium trash. Yeah, he's definitely running medium. He's definitely running medium. Sorry, let me get my words out. He's got full mid damage. There we go. I think he's got full mid damage anyway. Yes, he has. Explains why he's struggling. He's also running medium traction control, because you can see that the car is sluggish on the exit too. As we see Ralph on the back of the Kickstarter going down in towards turn number 4 we go, as down the inside goes Rieto, but Ralph does the switch back under and around the outside, but goes off the track, and unfortunately could not complete the move there. So tried an overtake, but got pushed backwards in one place. And now we see the top 3 all in hot pursuit once again, with Misha, Robert, Ryan, and Fireblaze is trying to stay within that DRS range as we make our way up towards the banking, towards turn 2 we go. And Fireblaze is trying to close. He's got Gattegas behind him on the hardcore power tyres. Gattegas is on the hardcore power tyres. It may explain why he lost a bit of ground at the start of the Grand Prix, so the pendulum may spin back towards his way later on. So he's got to be patient there in P5, hoping that he doesn't make any sort of mistake. So it can be quite interesting to see who does win this Grand Prix, because now they're all bunched together, and hopefully there's no sorts of drama in this race. Hopefully it's more cleaner and quieter. Hopefully it's not more quieter, but you know what I mean. Obviously we'll see some battles, get the elbows out, see some lunges down the inside, see some aggressive defenders. But we see Raj going backwards there on his hardcore power tyres. He's broken his wing too for good measure, hence why he's struggling for grip in the most important part of the racetrack, as Sasha goes down the inside of Gattegas. He goes up into P5. And let's see how his exit is. He got a bit compromised there too, but Sasha now displaced down into P6. And he's looking like he's losing some ground there, as Ryan is on the back of Robbie Jacobs. Here we go then. Two-time champion against Ryan. We'll see if the two-time champion of JSR can defend against the mighty Norwegian Dutchman there of Ryan, who seems to have more confidence at this stage. Now he's wheel to wheel, going down in towards turn 3. Robbie Jacobs lit the handcuffs off a little bit earlier, or later, sorry, in comparison towards Ryan. But Damn D on the brakes is the Norwegian and also the Belgian driver. And the Norwegian driver has to sit behind the Belgian for the time being. You know, Robbie Jacobs will not give up whatsoever. He's the aggressor. He's like a bull. Every time he sees reds, he always goes for it, and he never gives up. Well, he's in a red car, and he's chasing a red bull. And let's see how aggressive Robbie Eccles is against the red bull. We know the red bull is like... you don't want to be behind the red bull because he's got the hind heels of a donkey. He just kicks the back of you all the time. And Ryan there just has to duck out behind the Ferrari, the prancing horse. The bull versus the horse in this race. Which animal will get in front of who? Ryan in P3 in the racing bull. You can see there as well, Ryan just saving battery for the most critical part, as well as Robert in P2 just closed in the back of Misha, who somehow occupies this lead. I'm surprised that Robbie Jacobs hasn't gone for a move against the Red Bull driver, considering that he's been hunted down and under massive prey against the Racing Bull, because the Racing Bull is putting him under all sorts of pressure in this race. Always seems to have a bit more confidence this stage, especially at this stage where Ryan on the hard compound tyres, the grip is there, but you would expect the mini compound tyres to be good still at this stage of the Grand Prix. But Ryan there's not much margin between the hards and the mini compound tyres in terms of pace, but obviously the hard compound tyres are so durable, so it's not really a big difference what tyre you go on towards the start. Obviously in terms of go for longevity and strategy wise too, but at the start of the Grand Prix there's not much pace difference, I must say, either. So that's why Ryan is able to stick in the back of Robert as he's looking for a way past, but still can't seem to find a gap down the inside. Maybe at the final corner on the main strip we go, with DRS wide open for both of them as we head up towards turn 1 we go. Let's see if Ryan goes for a move down the inside. It goes. Ryan's on the grass there. Almost makes contact with Robert. Crazy stuff indeed, as Misha gets out of shape at turn 2 there as well, so struggling with the rear end of that Red Bull there. He's getting all loosey-goosey. I'm surprised that Ryan didn't spin on the grass there, especially the banking too. So he managed to keep it on the track. That could have ended in tears, and he just hit the back of Robbie Jacobs too. The Belgian driver getting rear-ended by the Norwegian. I'll not be happy with that one indeed. I'm pretty sure there'll be colourful languages out of Robbie's mouth there as well. We know what he's like when it comes to scrutiny. As you can see, Robbie Jacobs is starting to struggle because Ryan now, will he dare go down the inside, in towards the hairpin we go, up towards the hairpin he goes down the inside. Can he make it stick? Yes, no he can't, because Robert is still there and he snatches second place away. This is great tussle between these two, but is there any space on the inside? There's just enough space for Ryan to try and sneak up the inside there. Now the wheel to wheel out of the final corner, but it seems like Robbie Jacobs has got more showman speed in comparison towards the Racing Ball. We climb towards the tail once again. Robbie Jacobs still remains in P2. He's been under massive pressure so far. He hasn't really cracked from the pressure against Ryan, but Ryan gets a better exit. Here we go now towards turn 3 we go. He goes a bit late on the brakes there, does the Racing Ball, but he has the inside line. Can he take away the position? Not yet, he can't, but now he does with a better exit on the hard compound tyres. Ryan now muscles his way up into P2. That took about 7 laps. Oh, careful, Sasha. Don't hit the back of Fireblades. Oh, what's going on here? Misha is a ghost. And now Ryan takes the lead of this race, puts himself up to first place. You know what? This is great news for Ryan to get ahead of these guys already on the hard compound tyres, which bodes well and may pay dividends later on in his race, because there's only about 5 people on the hard compound tyres, but it's almost an even split actually between the guys in front. Here comes Sasha down the inside of Fireblaze. Fireblaze defending there, giving Sasha the squeeze. And Misha out of shape again, so his mini compound tyres must be starting to degrade slightly. Here comes Sasha up the inside there of Fireblaze. Whilst Robbie Jacobs also gets out of shape too. Fireblaze has to attack and defend. Which one will he do? Can he put the pressure on Robbie Jacobs? Can he keep Steven behind? The Dutchman looking for one of the podium, surely not down the inside there, in towards turn 2. That would have been a high-speed crash indeed if he dare attempt that down the inside. And what about Hatsukasa P7? What can he do on the hard compound tyres? Because surely now the hard compound tyres must be working in their optimum working range. As we see now, Sasha once again piling the pressure against Fireblaze, but Fireblaze placing the car in the right place of the track as well to keep him behind and at bay. But for how much longer? Look at Ryan. He's checked out in front in first place. He's pulled away. After the misfortunes in the Dutch GP, in the normal race, here in the feature race, here in the reverse race, he has got some pace. Going down towards the hairpin once again. Sasha there, looking for a way past Fireblades, gets a bit of a swap on too. You can see the back of the car just wagging its tail. The hardcore, the mini compound tyres there, surely now as Milan Langer is in the pit lane. He's like Stevan is in the pit lane. Look at Robbie Eccles. Sorry, look at Ryan Benink. He's pulling away there against his competitors. You know what they say about the hard to win strategy? It doesn't really always work out, but we'll see if the Norwegian Dutchman can make that happen. And the Norwegian Dutchman as well, currently running in P5 in the championship with 93 points, 2 points behind Robbie Eccles, but that will all change soon enough. Ryan Benink's last win was at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, and he could be, well, it's too early to say at this stage of the Grand Prix because of course we've still got the pit stops happening, but if we could try and get that gap more and more, try and build it every single lap, it may pay him dividends later on in the Grand Prix. So let's see if we can try and keep that gap and try and keep extending the gap as well. Robert is in the pit lane, same with Misha. Their mini compound tyres now have given them the ghost and they feel like it's time to pit, whilst Robbie Eccles here hits the back of Misha as the Ferrari, the Red Bull and the Racing Bull crew get to work on the cars. Sasha, our championship leader, also pits too for good measure. There is 15 laps left to go in this race. Fireblades now up into P2. He's got Hatukas right behind him on those hard compound tyres. So Fireblades there will start to feel the pressure against the Williams driver. I'm surprised he didn't pit because he was behind in that DRS train. I'm surprised he didn't try and go for the undercut against the guys ahead to try and leapfrog them in the pit lane. So he has decided to stay out there on those mini compound tyres, and somebody out there has become a cropper. Oh, it's Ryan! Ryan has made a big mistake! I thought it was somebody in the midfield, but it's Ryan, our race leader, who built up a 2-second gap, has made a big mistake that could have huge consequences for the end of this race. I was trying to think of another word. Yeah, what a shame for Ryan indeed, because he built up such a gap, and now somebody else, a Kick-Sauber driver, has made a big mistake. That is Rauch. As we see, I think Fireplay is now in the pit lane to get rid of his mini compound tyres. Here comes Robbie Eccles to the back of the Kick-Sauber, down the inside he goes. It's an aggressive lunge, but he has to make his stick because he knows he can't afford to be stuck behind the Kick-Sauber to fight him and lose time against him. He knows, and here comes the Red Bull driver, down the inside, Misha squeezing his way through on the inside there too. That was a lovely move. He puts himself up into P7 now ahead of the Kick-Sauber driver. Stefan Fireblaze is out of the pit lane. He rejoins down in P10, which is almost last place. He rejoins all the way at the back of this DRS train. Was it worth it pitting later on and trying to get the offset tyres, which is not really a big difference around here. But we'll see if he has the pace to try and pick these guys off one by one. As Stefan, the last week's race winner, is trying to displace the Kick-Sauber, but the Kick-Sauber in the wrong place at the wrong time there, just being a roadblock. And Stefan would dearly love to clear that Kick-Sauber, but he can't. Not in these places, surely. He's going to have to try and find another way to get past him. He's losing so much time against Misha. He has to get past him any given moment, maybe down towards the hairpin of turn number 3. That's possibly his best bet to go down the inside too. Will he go down the inside? Oh, here comes the racing bull of Stefan. Not Stefan. Here comes the racing bull of Sasha. But Sasha has got damage somewhere. He's just picked up damage on his front wing and somehow has blistering pace to go down the inside like that and take away P8. And Stefan got swamped there. It was like taking candy from a baby. You surely think that Stefan will be able to overtake the Kick-Sauber, but he couldn't do it. Can he do it now without contact? He can't do it still. He can't do it. He's stuck behind. This is really costing Stefan, and finally he gets past the Kick-Sauber. He goes up into P8 ahead of Ralph, and now it's Sauber's turn, Fireblaze's turn to get past him. And Fireblaze there just hits the back of him for good measures. We now go towards The right-hander we go. Can Fireblaze make a move down the inside? Surely with the better hardcore power tyres, you think they can go and make the move, but still the Kickstarter remains there. And Fireblaze now puts himself up into P9 ahead of the Kickstarter. So what's the situation like now? Ryan Benink is still first place despite making that mistake, and will that have consequences towards the end of this race? What are the ramifications of that mistake for Ryan? Because that could have some sort of hindrance later on in the Grand Prix, but we'll see if that does affect his progress or not. He's still built up a 2-second gap over Gattegas because Gattegas was right behind him at one point, but Ryan once again just gingerly built up a gap over Gattegas, and we'll see if the Norwegian Dutchman can make the hard-to-beat strategy work. His biggest threats are from P5 downwards. That's his biggest threat so far in the race. He needs a massive pace advantage on the medium compound tyre once he finally converts them. So we'll see if Ryan Benink does have that pace advantage. You've got a lot of time to make up. That's the problem to hard to medium, you know, because you've got to really stretch the hard compound tyres whilst you're losing time towards the guys on the new hard compound tyres. And that's the problem from going to hards to mediums, because you don't really have the time to catch back up, because you've got to prolong your stint, especially in the first stint on the hard compound tyres, to make sure the medium compound tyres can easily make it towards the end without suffering with any tyre degradation towards the end too. So that's the problem. The medium compound tyres is such a delicate race tyre, hence why people use them first in a race to get them out of the way, then go on the hard compound tyres later in the second stint. That's always been the norm, the main narrative in league racing. Obviously, not always, because in the last games, sometimes I think the hard to beat strategy was actually a better strategy in the last couple of games. I can't remember which one it was, but the soft compound tyres too were a good race tyre once upon a time, but not anymore. The soft compound tyres, the peak grip is about 4 or 5 laps, then they're completely gone. Everybody enjoys being on the hard compound tyres because it's such a great race tyre indeed. When they degrade, they don't suffer too badly in terms of deg, but when it comes to the medium compound tyres, when they suffer with deg, it's super hard to keep the car controlled and on the track, because you're always sliding, misjudging your braking points, losing traction, and just not getting the grip you need. And on the hard compound tyres, you can still have that grip, even though that the tyres may not be in a good state. But Ryan, Gattegas, Milan and Rear Tuck still out there on the hard compound tyres, so we're just waiting for those guys to pit, and that's when things will be defined and sorted out later on in the Grand Prix. But Robbie Jacobs is gaining so much time on Ryan. Was that a call to go on the hard compound tyres at the start? The bad decision for Ryan in first place. Has that cost him dearly? Because how much time can he make up in the last, 7 or 8 laps on the medium compound tyres? A lot of time, but will it be enough? I'm not quite sure, you know. I am doubting the hard to beat the strategy, but we'll see if it does work out for him. I presume he may pit towards the end of this lap because he's just losing so much time against Robbie Jacobs there. The gap is 12.8 now between Robbie and Ryan Jacobs. Ryan Benink. Sorry, Ryan Benink. Do you know what? I always get confused between Ryan and Robbie. I don't know why, but every time I join JSR, those two I get mixed up. Ryan and Robert. One's Norwegian and Dutch, and the other one is Belgian. So definitely can't get mixed up between those two there. Robbie Jacobs, of course, a 2-time champion here in JSR. He was an absolute beast, wasn't he, like last season? When I raced against him, he was so difficult to catch up to, and he take pole, he just run away with the race. And what's happened from that season to this season? Milan Langer is right behind Gattegas too for P2. But yeah, what's happened to Robbie Jacobs? Because his pace has gone AWOL, so not his pace, but in terms of consistency and just like keeping a calm head, it must be said, because I know Robbie Jacobs can get flustered under the collar. He's a great driver indeed, but when he gets in sorts of like accidents, then he just starts to lose his head. Robbie now goes up into P4 ahead of Mercedes driver, as Misha now looking to apply the pressure and get past him too, because he got to do that very quickly, but caught him up to the wrong part of the racetrack. That is so frustrating me, catch a driver in the wrong part of the racetrack, because now Robbie Jacobs complete the DRS against the Mercedes and the Red Bull 2 and Misha. Once again, Ryan stays out. I do not see Ryan winning this race. There is no way Ryan can win this race because, you know what, let's have a look at the gaps right now between Ryan and Robbie Jacobs. So it's 11.3. What's the pit lane loss around here? Let's say over 20 seconds. There is no way you're going to get about 9-10 seconds, or maybe more than that, in the space of like 5, 6 laps, 7 laps. But Misha once again now side by side with the Mercedes driver. The wheel to wheel is close between the two, but Misha surely gets ahead. He does. He muscles his way up into P5 ahead of the Mercedes driver, but 1 lap too late because now Robbie Jacobs has pulled away from Misha. I think Robbie Jacobs is destined to win this Grand Prix. You know, he surely has the advantage now. And Robbie Jacobs, if he does win, that'll be second Ferrari win in a row. Because Stefan did it back in Singapore, but Robbie Jacobs may do it here at the Dutch GP. And what is Misha doing there as well? Just missing his lines and locking up as well, going towards the braking zones. Ryan is still going on those hardcore power tyres. Still going. I think he's just got hanging for a safety car because surely there is no chance now. I think Robbie Jacobs has got this in the bag now. This is our race leader. Made his way through on... oh, we've got some battles going on down there. Let's see what happens between these guys. I think Ria went off the track, didn't he? Surely. And now he's been demoted down into P8 because Stefan and Sasha had moved up into P6 and P7. Seven laps to go in this race. It's not really a climatic part in the Grand Prix, not really a dynamic we're building up to. It's all about strategy. I think Robbie Jacobs has definitely got this in the bag. Our two-time champion of JSR. Hasn't had a race win since last season. Has Robbie Jacobs, but he's well on course to do that so far if no safety cars appears in this race. If things are plain sailing, he should be able to win this Grand Prix. I think Ryan, Khatakas, Milan are just racing for fun. Well, Milan isn't because he just left the session, so he's not racing for fun no more. He's out of the session. So what a shame for Milan Langer. He'll be absolutely disgruntled with that one indeed. But here comes Sasha now on the back of Misha with the DRS wide open. He caught up to him very quickly, didn't he? And now he's going side by side. Now he drags ahead and goes up into P5. But behind us, that's Fireblaze up into P8. Fireblaze has lost a lot of ground, you know. He was at P4 at one point. Now he's down into P8. But bearing in mind now, the top three have yet to pit in the race. Oh, it's raining. Wow, another twist, another dynamic, another changer in this race. It starts to rain here in Zandvoort. Explains why Ryan, Khatakas and Milan have stayed out there. But the question is though, is it enough for the intermediate compound tyres to be introduced in this race? Wow, that's really spiced things up now, hasn't it, in this race? Who would have known that the rain would impact the circuit? And Mummy Nick says, hi Mummy Nick. How are you doing, mate? Nice to see you here. I hope you're doing well, Mummy. Sorry, Nick. Robbie Jacobs goes up to P3 ahead of Milan, who is not in this race, but it is raining, and Milan's AI is pitted. What tyres is Milan's AI going to go to? Is it medium, soft, or is it inters? We'll see what the AI has decided to do. Is this the intermediate compound tyres? No, it's the medium compound tyres for Milan Langer. But of course, his AI is driving. Is it enough to merit the intermediate compound tyres? Because it could stay like this. It could stay greasy / dry, which means the dry compound tyres could be go towards the end. But maybe it could get wet enough for the intermediate tyres to be used. But do you want to pit within about a few laps left to go? If you're one of those drivers who, for example, Robbie Jacobs, do they want to pit? Because if he pits, he'll definitely lose the race win. Because Ryan and Khatakas will do the same thing. So, what's going to happen now in this race? We'll see how tough these conditions get. We'll see how bad these conditions are to go onto the intermediate compound tyres. With 5 laps left to go in this race, anything could spice up, anything could change. And we'll see what happens in this course of the race there. It started to get a bit wetter and wetter, and into the pit lane comes Robbie Jacobs, and into the pit lane comes Khatakas. Ryan Benning has stayed up there for one more lap. The conditions get worse and worse and worse. Has these guys made the right call on this lap to go to the inters? Remember what they say, be on the right side at the right time. It's an essential. 1 lap too late, 1 lap too early can decide your whole race. Ryan Benning surely has to pit. He surely has. He can't stay out there because he has to pit just yet to go into a new tyre. Remember, that tyre roll is still in ground for him. It's still effective. He's got to go onto a new set of a medium of an inter because he's riding these tyres the whole race. Surely these tyres can't get towards the end of the Grand Prix, and surely he can't get towards the end of the Grand Prix either because those tyres might explode, and plus they don't have the grip either. Khatakas is right behind the Mercedes driver as he goes around the outside. There's contact, but Khatakas maintains the outside line and he goes up into P3. Can Khatakas win this race as well? Ryan has surely got to pit. If he stays out there to the end of the race, he will lose too much time. He's got to pit right now, and he has. Is it 1 lap too late? Has Khatakas got a... Oh my goodness me. Here we go then, Ryan is in the pit lane. This completely changes the output of this race. The whole trajectory of this race has taken a different swing, and now we'll see what happens in this race. Ryan is on a new set of intermediate compound tyres, Fireblaze Piss 2. These guys have got to pit. It's too wet for the dry compound tyres. They just slide around too much and lose the tyres. So the people on the hard compound tyres have got to pit. Ryan now rejoins in the lead of the Grand Prix. So that actually hasn't worked out. That actually hasn't gone bad for Ryan at all. That's worked in a treat. I'm sorry, Ryan Khatakas, you got to forgive me. I thought you lost the race because you stayed out there for too long. I didn't know it was going to rain. I didn't have weather information right in front of me, so you got to forgive me. I didn't know it was going to rain. I was thinking to myself, why on earth are these guys still out there for that long? I didn't think rain would affect the circuit, but it has. And now this has swung into Ryan's favour now. The pendulum has gone towards Ryan Khatakas, the guys that started on the hard compound tyres. What could it have been for Milan Langer, who is on the dry compound tyres still? He'll be absolutely frustrated with his AI for doing that. My apologies to Ryan Khatakas, just to let you know. I thought that your strategy was a bit of a blunder, but in hindsight, which is a wonderful thing, I didn't know it was going to rain, and you guys have made the right choice. So well done to you guys for elongating that. Oh, Misha there, struggling through the first part of the racetrack, but yeah, great instinct there from Ryan in first place. Sorry about that. Easy podium gone, says Milan Langer. Oh, what a shame for Milan there. He was running a solid race at P3, knowing that the hard compound tyres would make it to the distance before the rain arrived, and his AI has completely shoved him down, and plus his internet too. So what a shame for Milan Langer. Be absolutely disgruntled with that one indeed. And his AI is pitted once again, so there's no point in Milan for coming back, I dare say. Great strategy, AI. Great strategy indeed. And I think this pretty much sells it now for the rest of the race. I think this is going to be the order for the rest of the race because Ryan is going to... Yeah, I know, Milan. I know. Your internet let you down. It's a shame, mate. Sorry about that, Milan. But come back stronger in the next race, mate. It was a good race for you, but shit like that happens, you know. It's a shame. But yeah, there is 2 laps left to go in this race. And Ryan Benning, who hasn't had a win since the first race of the season in Sao Paulo, the man that's sitting in P5 in the championship, could be well catapulted up the order in the championship. What a race for Ryan Benning as well. On the hard compound tyres, made his way through at the early stage of the Grand Prix, and look what he's done so far. He's able to take the hard compound tyres all the way through without suffering with any pace loss as well. What a great job from the Norwegian Dutchman. It makes up, doesn't it, from the Singapore Grand Prix, a great qualifying, but unfortunately for him, not such a good race because he had damage, didn't he? He got beaten by Fireblaze in Singapore. He had damage, he got undercutted by both Ferraris, he got stuck behind both Ferraris, but this time, he's not stuck behind anybody, and he's pulled a marginal gap over second place of Khatakas, and Khatakas Well done to him as well in P2. I know he's been struggling in league racing recently. No question about it. But great job for him in JSR, must be said. Another podium as well. He's had a win back at the Monaco Grand Prix. And recently, he's done such a great job as well. Former teammates with Milan Langer last season. No, season before, sorry, because Milan was my teammate last season, sorry. Come on, Hartikas, keep on the road, mate. There's no need to make any sort of silly mistakes because this is an easy podium for Hartikas now. These guys have done all the hard work on the hardcore power tyres. They don't want to do it by just pushing too hard on these instantly compound tyres. Just bring the car home. But this man, who was born in the Netherlands but has Norwegian heritage, he lives in Norway right now. The Norwegian Dutchman of Rijbenink. A man very popular in the JSR community, JSR esports team. And he may have had some bad luck recently, but he's definitely put those wrongs to bed. And he's certainly shown us what he's capable of as well, because Rijbenink has shown us some great pace, great innovation, great strategy call, and executed it flawlessly as well, with some great pace get past the leaders, especially the first half of the Grand Prix. Muscled his way through and hasn't looked backwards ever since. The hardcore power tyres, he took them all the way through, despite them degrading, despite them just chewing off and not having a grip any whatsoever. He took them all the way through until the rain came and pitted on the right time as well. He's been in control ever since he took the lead of the Grand Prix, and he hasn't looked backwards ever since, has Rijbenink. And what a race. What an absolute race from the Norwegian Dutchman. Very, very pleased for him indeed. And anytime soon, he'll make his way now towards the final couple of corners to see the checkered flag at his home Grand Prix. He shares a home Grand Prix in Norway. Of course, we don't race in Norway in Formula 1, but we used to race around here. And Rijbenink comes towards the final corner. And this is a celebration that he's been waiting for such a long time. This is the first race of the season. Rijbenink is a race winner once more as he spins towards the line. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Wins the race by 8 tenths of a second. He wins 7 races in his career in JSR. What a great job from lights out to checkered flag. And Hartikas finishes at P2. Robbie Jacobs finishes at P3. And here comes the rest of the field. What an amazing job for Rijbenink. He can absolutely be pleased with that one as well. Back towards the top end of the field. After his misfortunes in the last couple of races. It wasn't a Ferrari this time who won the Grand Prix. Robbie Jacobs is still yet to get a win this season. But that win is definitely coming towards him, it must be said. 11 people did finish the race, despite Milan Langer lagging out. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I know it hasn't been a spectacular one, but oh well. It's been a pleasure to commentate as always. We move on to the Nathan GP, whatever that is. I'm not quite sure what that is, but hopefully it'll be good. So whatever the Nathan JP is next, that is next for us on the calendar. There is about 3 races left. There's 4 races left to go after this. Wow, the season is always coming towards the end, and the championship is in anybody's grasp because they're so close to the championship. And we'll see what happens in the next race. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you all later. Goodbye for now. Take care. Ik hou van jou.